A young man once whispered something unforgettable. "I stepped through a door," he said, "and on the other side, the world was no longer this one." The colors were brighter, constituted a basho, and even when he returned, his own room looked wrong. Another patient yielded a similar story. The world split in two. Wilmington half, the familiar room. The other half, a place where time bent and space refused to obey. Was it madness? Professionalism into something real? Yale University once asked the same question. In 2019, researchers found that nearly 60% of people who experienced strong perceptual distortions described it the same way, a worlds side by side. If so many see it, can we still call it an illusion? Or is it a hidden truth our minds are not supposed to touch? To find out, let's start with something simple. The eyes. Cameras made of flesh. Light strikes the retina. The signal travels along the optic nerve through the thalamus and lands in the occipital lobe. There, the brain paints the picture you call reality. But here is the secret. It is not the raw feed. MIT researchers discovered that 90% of the image is a guess. Presumption fills in the blanks. Only 10% comes from your eyes. So what you see is not the world itself. It is the version your brain allows you to see. And when consciousness shifts, the painter inside your skull goes rogue. The occipital lobe begins to mix truth with invention. It renders images from inside, not outside. In 2016, Imperial College London used MRI to watch it happen. The visual cortex lit up, activity jumping 40% above normal. Meanwhile, the default mode network, the hub of self, collapsed to half its usual strength. When the sense of I dims, people feel they dissolve into something else. Is this what opens the door? If the world you see is only a projection, then where is the real world hiding? Picture this. You walk into your room, the chair, the table, the clock on the wall. Then, suddenly, it bends. The chair grows legs. The wall tears open into a night sky. The clock ticks, backwards. Articulated ties overlap. One belongs to the body. The other belongs to the mind. Scientists gave it a name: perceptual fragmentation. In 2021, the Max Planck Institute found 67% of people in altered states reported warped time. For some, 1 minute stretched into hours. For others, an hour slipped away in a heartbeat. And it wasn't just time. Leggings echoed without end. A touch on the arm became a storm of vibrations racing through the body. No outside signal caused it. The brain itself built a second world, and those inside believed it. But if your brain can build a world that feels real, how do you know this one isn't just another construction? Long before MRI machines, ancient texts described the same visions. In Ezekiel, a prophet saw wheels of fire within fire and heard a voice like rushing water. In Revelation, John saw a city of pure light, untouched by suffering. Mystical or neurological? Modern ears recognize the patterns: spirals of light, roaring sounds, leaving the body behind. Durham University asked 1,800 people about their experiences. 75% saw visions of light. 45% heard sounds with no source. And many used words, almost identical to Scripture. If prophets and patients described the same images, was it revelation from above or the brain, unlocking its most fragile circuits? Where does the sacred end and illusion begin? Buddhism gives another answer. All phenomena arise. Meditators who enter deep absorption speak of losing the self, no boundaries, reluctance. Sometimes visions come, light, sound, entire landscapes. But masters are warned, do not cling to them. They are only shadows of the mind. The Lankavatara Sutra says, "The realms seen in meditation are but shadows. Only by not clinging can one reach true wisdom." Science confirms the difference. At the University of Wisconsin, researchers compared monks with decades of practice to subjects in induced altered states. The monks lowered their default mode network gently, holding calm focus for hours. Some sign the shortcuts forced it down in seconds. Chaotic, unstable. Backstage, erase the self, but one leads to clarity, the other to danger. So what is this journey? Flushing awakening, or just a broken mirror of meditation? People love to call shortcuts keys to the cosmos. Forging every key unlocks a price. In 2020, the Journal of Psychiatry reported the numbers. 35% developed lasting anxiety. 12% could no longer sleep normally. 8% suffered psychiatric symptoms so severe they needed treatment. The World Health Organization says 1 in 10 pay with trauma that lingers for years. But the cruelest trick is the illusion of enlightenment itself. Believing you've touched truth, only to wake up restless, empty, addicted to the chase. They think they walk toward light, but step by step, they descend deeper into shadow. So why do so many still take the risk? Because we are human. We crave the instant success, instant love, instant awakening. In 2022, Pew Research found 60% of young adults longed for fast-track methods. 40% admitted they tried shortcuts instead of the long road. But the mind is not a machine to be overclocked. Clang, it is an ocean. Diving too deep without learning to swim means you may never rise again. Yes, you may see the bottom. But can you breathe once you're there? Many believe they touched truth, but in reality, they touched only a counterfeit shadow. That is why, after chasing every shortcut, people return to the slow path. The path of breath, the path of practice. All shortcuts fail. People describe it the same way. The visions end. The fireworks die. The feeling of merging with the universe fades into silence. What remains? Emptiness. And the question? What was real? In 2019, Frontiers in Psychology reported the fallout. Participants felt a crushing loss of meaning, while quarter fell into depression, some temporary, some permanent. So they return to meditation, presumption, mouth, to mindfulness, seeking the ground again. The Buddha once said, "No joy is greater than the peace of a mind unshaken." Yet many only discover this truth at the bottom of the void. Blackmail Xiling light has burned out, and silence is all that remains. If silence is the end of the road, which path will you take to reach it? These altered states feel like touching the edge of the universe. But they are not the cosmos. They are chaos in the brain. A door that opens today may leave a crack that never heals. In 2021, the National Institute on Drug Abuse revealed that 1 in 5 who entered such states later developed paranoia, memory loss, or crippling anxiety. The price is hidden until it is too late. Shortcuts look like the fast way up the mountain, but they are a double-edged sword. You may glimpse the sky, but you may fall into the abyss. Only through practice, through patience, through step-by-step inner training, can we reach a truth that is safe, stable, unshaken. The greatest journey is the one you can return from. One breath, one day, one step at a time. Not a blind leap into the void, but the steady, silent path that leads to true freedom.